I mean, I don't control you. You can do what you want. Hello, world, and welcome to Snap Together Saturday. Today is Saturday. That's all you're getting. Anyway, I don't know the date. It's March something, March 18th, I think. Uh, yes. Today we're gonna be building from the 2019 Super Sentai Series, Kishiryuoh Series 01, Kishiryuoh Three Knights. Applause, applause. Thank you, thank you. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, that's not Three Knights. We're gonna be building Kishiryuoh. Just Kishiryuoh. No Three Knights. No, wait. It's a two-sided box, what do you know? The gimmick is that the Tyrannosaurus makes the entire robot on its own, but then the others can attach to it as armor. We've seen that before in Die Ranger and in Go Busters. Those are the only ones that come to mind. But yeah, so reflecting that, here's the box for sets 1, 2, and 3, and then 4 and 5 will have the other box art of the Three Knights formation. So, not much to say. Ryu Soldier was a series that I saw. Was not very fond of it. But the Megazord, the robot, was popping. So, we're going to build it. Nope. Getting right into it. So as you can see, here's a better view. It's Tyramigo. It's comprised of boxes 1, 2, and 3. Uno, Dos, and Trace. That's not very. 1, which is this one, and then 2 and 3. Tyramigo is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is red. What a shocker. Never seen that before in Super Sentai history. Never before has a Tyrannosaurus robot been red in a dinosaur-themed Sentai. And on the back you can see the wave assortment. Tyramigo makes boxes 1, 2, and 3. Triken makes box 4. Ankyrose is box 5. Of course, you can combine it into Kishiryuoh on its own. You can combine with each of them to make Kishiryuoh, Triken, Kishiryuoh Ankyrose, and Kishiryuoh Three Knights. Just depends on where the focus is, basically. We shall get into it. I didn't bring anything to compare it with, but I will compare it with the actual, with Hasbro's Deluxe, I guess. That'll be what I compare it with. Alright, let's get into it. Wow, just 2 sprues. That's it. And then instructions for the combined robot. Yeah. Alright, right off the bat, that head. Fuck. I knew it wasn't painted, but damn, just seeing that is very disappointing. I had thought about this. Obviously, there's stickers for it, but my plan is to try to paint it, at least the crust.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Yo.
Welcome. Again. Sorry to make you miss the Steam sale, I guess. But not really, sorry. You chose out of your own volition. Anyway, so.
Sailor Zombie Esther. LOL.
I was just saying, I'm going to paint the face off screen. Maybe not the face itself, but like the head crest. And I can paint the the key bit on the side, paint the silver accents. We'll see. But I really don't want to just leave this to just stickers. We shall see. Don't think I can get enough detailing on the face for my liking. I'm not good at faces yet. Yeah, it's a little too much. Alright, so let's get into it. It's going to be a very simple build, it looks like. This is...
Sailor Zombie Esther. No, I have to monitor the site Steam sale in a constant vigil of savings.
Savings on games you weren't going to buy anyway? B1, B4.
Sailor Zombie Esther. I bought like $80 worth.
But are you going to play them?
Sailor Zombie Esther. At work.
They let you play video games at work? I'm in the wrong job.
Sailor Zombie Esther. I love it.
At least the silver is nice. Alright, so that's stickers 5 and sticker 6. Makes the eyes... I could just... In theory, I could paint that, but I won't bother. It's recessed enough, it should be fine. So I'm going to put on some entertainment. Feel free to keep conversing with me.
This right here is the new paper bottle developed by the eco-friendly beauty brand Innisfree as a way to finally stop using plastic. Yes! Except it's not really, because it's just a plastic bottle wrapped in paper. Wow, what an asshole design! Today we're going to be looking at the top posts from the subreddit Asshole Design, which will infuriate you. Also, in case you're wondering how they got away with this, the brand have come out with a statement saying, "We apologize for any confusion," saying, "We overlooked the possibility that the naming, paper bottle, could mislead people to think the whole packaging was made of paper." Of course, saying hello, I'm paper bottle, truly, obviously implied, hello, we're covering a plastic bottle with paper. Why would anyone assume otherwise? Companies, corporations, profits, the earth while pretending not to the earth.
Yeah.
It's a weird kink. I love ads on my 250-pound console that I continue to pay £6 a month to play on. Oh, you'd love to see it. This is the late stage capitalism. You're going to spend all this money to get a console standalone to play games. You've paid a lot of money for it, and you pay monthly for the privilege. And they're still going to advertise to you eating burgers. Oh my god. Another similar topic here. We have unremovable ads on my $2,500 smart TV from Samsung. What? Stop using the standard stock OS that comes with your smart TV. Yeah, it's dreadful. Asshole design. They're going to be advertising to you so that they can keep milking you for money. It's really shitty. They shouldn't be legally allowed to do that, but they will because you just take it. I use Apple TV. I don't have that as an issue. The OS is so much more stable and seamless, and I don't get advertised to. Not Spawn. Wish it was. Plus, every once in a while they come out with a good show. Just Ted Lasso. Literally just Ted Lasso. Oh, the y-axis has a 0 on top, so the graph of gun deaths looks like it's going down. You gotta love it. Absolutely. This is basically just misleading AF. Florida enacted the Stand Your Ground law, and it looks like that, nope. Stand your ground, more gun deaths. It's annoying that stuff like this is legal, but especially because the amount of people that just glance and get this information and do not do the due diligence to think a bit more are going to just take in this service level information, which is the goal of these companies, and go, oh cool, Gun's good. Alright, this next one pisses me the heck off because I swear it happens on Just Eat all the time in the UK. We have Chipotle goes all out advertising that the next week delivery is free. And then they casually just make the delivery price higher than the regular one. Yes, I have seen this happen. I feel like Just Eat every Tuesday has cheeky Takeaway Tuesday or something like that. You get 20% off. But all the places that offer it increase the prices on Tuesday so that it counters it. How is that legal? I don't think it is. Someone's going to do an expose at some point. Joe, whatever your name is, the guy on the TV. What's his name? Joe, you know, the very flamboyant man. Funny man. Joe. We'll just call him Joe.
All right.
Do it, Joe.
A3, A5.
Joe, lice it. Whew, it took me a long time. This is some dystopian Black Mirror stuff. A lot of this stuff has to do with modern technology because this is where the late stage capitalism is being programmed into our brains here. We've got Sony was granted a patent to make a TV that will only stop showing you a commercial once you stand up and say the brand name out loud.
What the
Hooray!
fuck?
Brands. That is quite literally the very same thing as an actual Black Mirror episode. Dystopia nightmare. This is what we're living in. Texas's 35th district. Oh yes, everybody loves a little bit of gerrymandering. Asshole design. It shouldn't be allowed. And as soon as people go, well, Democrats do it too. Listen, there's one group that is using it a lot more, and regardless, it shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed. It is so undemocratic. For those of you wondering why the district is shaped this way, in the States, the way gerrymandering works is the party in power gets to draw the lines around the population, so that way they can center all the people that are going to vote against them in one group, as opposed to having them evenly dispersed, so that way they can essentially rig the election in their favor. It's another way that U.S. democracy doesn't actually work. Oh! I chose the bottle because the tube just wasn't enough. This Trojan trickery is an abuse coming from a brand with recognition. Ooh, is this Scotch? Should have gone with Elmer's glue. But no, either way, that is truly asshole design. Is that not classed as some sort of fake advertising? They're clearly deceiving you as a consumer into thinking all that space is being taken up, but it's not. See if the brand has apologized to be like, we're sorry. We thought people would love the sexy shape of our new glue bottles. This is known as slackfill, and it is actually illegal, but like with most consumer protection laws, the law probably doesn't get enforced very often. So who wins? Oh yes, the corporations and the shareholders. Ooh, posts like this are just gonna give Ticketmaster some new ideas. You want your tickets now? Well, you gotta pay 40 pence. We'll just email it to you right now, like we should. Otherwise, we're just gonna put it in like a 2-hour delay, just because you. That's ridiculous. And now we're starting to see some of the deceptive advertising around some foods, which is important to note because I'm making a whole video or two about these in the coming weeks, so, you know, be sure to subscribe and whatnot. So we have natural brown sugar. All right, let's look on the back. Natural is only a brand name, trademark, and does not represent its true nature. Welcome to natural brown sugar. Actually, this ain't natural at all. That's our brand name. That's like the 9 out of 10 dentists. This is a UK brand. I'm fairly certain. They did a really bad job smearing out boots.
Right.
Okay.
The head comes off.
Who can tell the difference?
They're
the same photo. That is boots. Am I right? I feel like you can't even do that because natural is in the same exact font as the word brown sugar. Same shape, same everything. You can't just be like, oh, that's actually the brand name. Signify that. Natural in a circle. Either way, that's deceptive. Ooh, that should not fly in the UK. Oh my god, the brand is not Boots, it's Perry's? It's not Boots. It doesn't exist in the UK because it couldn't have, okay? There we go. Either way, natural, a word that is not natural when it comes to marketing. 1,001 stickers and 768 of them are useless squares, thanks Disney. I'm glad that they counted the 768 useless squares. That's misleading, that's dreadful, but also true. Mobile ads. Useless. 1,001 stickers and 768 of them are useless squares. Thanks, Disney. Jesus. I'm glad that they counted the 768 useless squares. That's misleading. That's dreadful. But also true. Mobile ads when you touch 0.0001 centimeters away from the center of the X button. Looks like you're going to the App Store, Jimbo. Any mobile advert that you are on, any mobile website where they have those autoplay videos that are just so freaking annoying. What is, like, I hate them. And this is just a pro tip if you're someone else that also hates having to try and get that tiny X in the corner of your screen, just turn on reader mode. Any website that doesn't respect you as a user and has dreadful UI, just turn on reader mode. Boom, makes it amazing. Also works in terms of websites that try and ask you to pay to read stuff. Nope, put on reader mode, done. If you're like, I use Chrome, well, that's your problem. Stop using Chrome. I don't know how you even use Chrome with all the RAM it takes up. I switched from Chrome 2 years ago, never looking back. Having to watch 30 seconds of ads just before I'm able to use the gas pump. Oh my god, that is some dystopian level crap. Luckily, that would never happen in my home state, New Jersey. Yeah, because you are not allowed to pump your own gas. It's against the law. So we wouldn't have to worry about that. The guy that pumps my gas, he would definitely have to watch the ad, and so I don't think it would probably be a thing, because that would slow down the profits.
Let's do the next piece.
This
This is gonna be the body.
Oh god. Either way, don't
body.
drive here. Hopefully that doesn't happen in the UK. If any, I just really hate that as a concept. I was trying to think of like maybe they would charge you less money for the gas if you're also watching an ad, but no, just stop pumping ads in our faces everywhere. That for a start. Oh, a lovely Tinder notification. We don't want your fun to stop, so we've expanded your age and distance preferences that, you set because you're not looking to date someone under the ages of 19 or maybe over the ages of 50 or 50 miles away. But doesn't matter. I already made an entire video on all my experiences with dating apps. I ended up swiping over 130,000 times on Tinder alone, but Bumble by far was the worst, where it would be like, hey, check Bumble, there's a message, there's your notification, and you'd open it, there would be no message. It would just be Bumble being an asshole. At least Tinder's a app, but they're not necessarily pretending to be a app. Bumble's a app pretending to give guys a chance. It's not. Hinge is the only one I stand by, for now. It worked for me. I'm off. Ooh, God. Cup design that makes the drink looks like it's filled with actual fruit. No, I wouldn't say fruit. I'd say filled with syrup, sure. But yeah, that is dreadful. Asshole design. You're like, oh wow, look at all the nice syrup they've put in. Nope, it's just milk with colorful cups. Everyone here seems to really hate that dongle. I think I never had to worry about it because I use Bluetooth headphones like a normal person. Welcome to the future, son. Oh, we got 8% beer. That's great. Wait, what? Let's zoom in on that. Enhance. Less than. That's so hard to see. That's like, you gotta take out your little monocle and be like, whoa, what's going on here? Less than 8%. How is that legal? It's in India? Okay. I feel like that also would exist in the States, though. Oh my god. I am just thankful that I got to study in university before all these horrible changes came to pass, or at least it was in between. They were trying to get all these things passing here. We've got, my $200 textbook, sounds cheap honestly, won't let me copy paste more than 84 words to a study guide. Oh no, 84 words at a time, so that way you're not copying it and sending it to someone. Dreadful. Stuff like this is why piracy exists, and I've always been a big fan of piracy. Just throw that out there. I mean, I used to get so much flack from a lot of my friends in London because I was always like, hey, if you can't afford Adobe, pirate it. If you can't afford something, pirate it. As long as you're not harming anyone at the end of the day, whatever. And people got really up in my face about it. And I'm just thinking,
I'm with him.
This is why people pirate, okay? I was so excited when I finally bought BioShock 2. I got it on my PC side of my Mac, and I was like, sweet, ready to play. Just kidding, it was on Games for Windows Live. And if you're a gamer and remember that, you're probably just shuddering right now at the thought. The amount of DRM and just ways to ruin the experience of the player made it so that I couldn't even play the game that I had paid for because I had to be constantly connected to the internet, and I had really bad internet when I was home in the States, and it was like constantly checking to make sure, and it would kick you out and close it, and this is why people pirate. I have nothing against piracy when you have companies like this that are basically making it so that the thing that you give them money to do, you can't even use at all. Unless it's the way they expect you to.
That's
dreadful.
The body and a flip like this
Piracy.
to make
Put on
the...
your pirate hats.
Okay.
Tesco. Here we go. We got a UK brand coming in here. Ooh, flushable toilet wipes. Just gonna throw this out there. Just use toilet paper. No matter what a package says, you shouldn't be flushing toilet wipes. I'm fairly certain if you, especially if you own your own flat, hey, if it's the landlord's, I don't care, don't just do what you want. But, if you own your own flat, you don't want to ruin your own pipes. Just don't do that. Look, even right here, Tesco on the back. First thing, harmful to aquatic life with long-lasting effects. Flush it. Send it to the Thames. The word flushable is like the word natural. Market it to whatever you want it to mean. Classic asshole design. As soon as you get into like the bag and crisps, this is where it gets in. We have both weigh 500 grams, but the green one is 30% bigger bag for sharing. Yes, so that your friends can fit their arms in and get the same amount for more money.
7.
Classic capitalism. I wouldn't say shrinkflation is asshole design. I'd say it's really annoying and horrible and the worst. Not asshole design. So Cadbury's doing this thing and thinking nobody would notice. Annoying. I wouldn't say it's asshole design. Welcome to U.S. healthcare, everyone. Invoices for my hospital stay are starting to come in. Each Hall's cough drop, or in the UK I believe that's called a throat lozenge, individually packaged by Safecore of Columbus, Ohio, and billed at $10. A packet of Hall's cough drops you can get for like $2 at a Walgreens. $10 per cough drop, individually wrapped. Basically, it reminds me of the video I did with my junior nurse friend Ian, in which I showed him the prices of loads of different things in the U.S.
This just doesn't make sense. It wants the... That's gotta be... First of all, that doesn't fit that way. Wants this in down. It might fit. Oh, it does. Okay, so hold both ends. Never mind. I was wrong. It does fit. Never was a fan of these arms. That's the core, PC1. Goes on the back of it like this. That's the fist, okay, right. And then lower arm, okay.
And his mouth was just open the whole time. My Chinese smart TV plays a 15-second Chevrolet commercial every time I turn it on. Why did you buy a Chinese smart TV? Listen, it is asshole design. I'm also saying, if you are paying so much less for a product, do you guys, listen, I know not everyone has the time of day, maybe that I do, to research things that I buy. But do you guys just go to a store and go, I'm going to buy this item for like $200? That's a lot of money. If I'm spending over $100 on something, I religiously know that item. I'm going to know if they're going to advertise to me. I'm not going to buy it if they do. I feel like just do a little bit more due diligence. We shouldn't have to as consumers. I will put that out there. The government should be protecting us against these terrible practices. But also, do a little watching or some reviews. For TV stuff, I do recommend Stop the FOMO. It's a good YouTube channel, basically telling you straight facts with white gloves. This is why piracy always wins. Oh God, Olin Rogers' show, Final Space. Amazon deleted my Final Space digital purchases of season 1 and 2. My video library has been wiped clean of Final Space content. What the hell? Hello, your purchase titles may become unavailable due to licensing restrictions or other limited reasons. You can read more about it here. Cool. So like, when I bought this item, you basically are leasing the item, but are calling it bought. How is that legal? That is blowing my mind. That is one of the biggest asshole designs we've seen so far. Oh my God. And people make fun of others that are into like DVD collections and physical DVDs and such. At least nothing is going to change about those DVDs. Unless the DVD player manufacturers start getting involved. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but please, can you please turn off ad block? We really need your money. Me, okay, turns off ad block. Website, download Gun Wars today. Have hardcore sex.
Yeah.
Reader mode. I'm
Download Cunt Wars today. Have hardcore sex with these cartoon girls in a... It cuts off at V.
Wars today. Have hardcore sex.
SC10.
Reader mode. I'm promoting reader mode. It's free. Just go to your website settings, turn on reader mode. I look up a lot of times like, where's that stupid Odin Raven in the Ragnarok game? And I get all these stupid ads and playable videos and the wars and the cartoon girls. I don't want it. Reader mode, goodbye. Win ping pong to subscribe. I'd like to unsubscribe. You've got to win against our AI in order to do that.
Damn. If real, that's a... I don't think it's real, but damn.
That's broken.
That might the other arm.
I just want to unsubscribe from your stupid mailing list, and now I've got to play a game. Well, you couldn't win because you're trash. Guess you're going to keep seeing us in your inbox. Oh, God, that is so bad. Oh, my God. Received this from my 88-year-old grandma. Says it's a summons from Travis County, but it's actually asking for money for Ted Cruz. Did your campaign authorize this? Is this even legal? Shame on you. That is How is that legal? God, it's like I just got one of those dangerous howlers in the mail this week. The red letter from, you know what I'm talking about. I made a video about this. This is the threatening letter in the mail from the old BBC companies. What are they called? The TV licensing guys. Oh no, they're sending a van. They're not. I'd say that the TV licensing letters are assholes. I paid $55 to remove the company's watermark that they put on my face, and they put it on the printed copy. The price was $5.76, but you could only pay in quarters. Oh, that takes the cake. They're making you think you can actually pay less. No, it's actually $6. I do not miss living in an apartment complex where we had to like walk to a different building to do our wash. The amount of stuff I had stolen, the amount of time I wasted, the amount of quarters I had to use. Oh God, no. And yet Americans bully us for having our washing machines in the kitchen. Mine's in the closet next to the kitchen. It's okay. I would rather have a laundry room, but still. Another good example of greenwashing. We've got my workplace's low plastic recyclable eco pens have a secret at their core. It's just plastic. They're just pretending to be paper to make you feel good about it. It's so much worse. Like, all people are asking is to stop using single-use plastics to the companies. And the companies are like, what was that? Pretend we're stopping the use? Pearson is forcing students at my school to buy an access code for their system.
I can't really help you with that one.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Are you wearing a brace on your hand?
No. Just a hoodie.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Okay, looked like a carpal tunnel brace for a second. Sailor Zombie Esther. Tongue sticking out.
The camera's being erratic. Okay.
System. Use plastics to the companies. And the companies are like, what was that?
Your shrug triggered the camera.
Pretend we're stopping the use? Pearson is forcing students at my school to buy an access code for their system, basically paying $70 to turn in homework. And I was looking at the info regarding the optional included e-textbook and saw this. Oh, you're allowed to print, but only 2 pages every 1,825 days. Lord, that's nearly as big as my Duolingo streak. That's ridiculous. 2 pages. Basically, we don't allow printing. That's essentially it. They're just lying out front and pretending they're not. This hurts. This hurts. Oh my God, they just wrapped a plastic cup in paper. Oh, and they made it look bigger. Oh my God. They made it paper. This hurts. This hurts. Oh my God, they just wrapped a plastic cup in paper. Oh, and they made it look bigger. Oh my God. They made it look like you're getting so much, and it's just deceptive. Return this dime and feed a child. Okay, so instead of using the dime you originally could have fed a child with, you spent 37 cents to send it to me, and then another 37 cents for me to send it so you can use the dime you originally had to feed the child. America. This one's fascinating because it's people complaining about Facebook updating Instagram, knowing that everyone has the muscle memory of clicking certain areas to get to certain things, so that you accidentally click on shopping tabs and get more ads. Can you believe that Facebook has just done this again last week, and now Instagram has switched it back to this original strategy, so now you're accidentally clicking more ads. Literal evil. Evil, evil, evil people. Zuck can get zucked. If you'd like to unsubscribe from our emails, please give us some money. You know, you gotta give them a little credit for the idea. I think every YouTube video now, drawn out intro. Hey, I started real fast. I jumped right into one, okay? Sponsorship. No, I saved those for the end of the video, okay? That way you get the meat, you get a little sponsor bit, and then I usually put a nice little conclusion, little ukulele. Then we got buy our merch. I got rid of all my merch. but I am probably going to put out certain photographic prints. Yeah. Then we have actual content and then Patreon subscribe. Hey, stop watching those YouTubers. That's all I got to say. Or tell them to stop doing that. I personally, I'm okay with that. I know from someone's intonation when they've switched to doing an ad read, and I'm like, ah, yes, my L button is at the ready. Let's wrap this up. The best way we can prevent companies from doing stuff like this is to boycott their products, number one. And two, maybe ask our government officials to do something about it. I do feel like, from what I'd seen of the U.S.'s State of the Union in January, it seems like they're attempting to do something, maybe, to stop the companies from running wild with the U.S. consumer, and it felt inspiring. I doubt anything will come from it, because it's U.S. politics, but I did feel like, wow, finally, Jesus, this is all we wanted. Hopefully, we can get policy in the UK, the US, around the world that helps companies stop being so deceptive, or at least slaps incredible fees on them, not just these little slaps on the wrist like, oh,
we got two
stop
arms.
being deceptive, stop misleading customers. Like, of course, Mars Incorporated, who lied to their American consumers for over 5 years, which I detailed heavily in this video over here, including how they lobbied Congress for millions of dollars. So, if you want to watch that, go check that out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next Sunday. Goodbye.
I just realized I forgot to do these off. And then these are just extra. Do those later. Used for what's it saying? I can't. What does it say about these pieces? Back to that. All right, let's get these out of the way. This is not used for combination. I got that part. Okay, last one. I'm going to take a quick break. What's up on the YouTubes?
So this news story is about a week old now, but for most people it flew completely under the radar as everyone seemed preoccupied with the Metroid Prime Remaster and with the announcement of Metroid Fusion coming to the Switch. So here's essentially what happened. On the Kiwi Talks podcast on YouTube, they interviewed a man by the name of Anthony Garcelano. Anthony is an artist, and he worked as a contractor on the Metroid Prime Remaster. Many aspects of the game were discussed, but the real interesting part about Garcelano's interview was that he said, crossing my fingers if they're also remastering the second and third game, meaning Metroid Prime 2 and Prime 3. Obviously, as a contractor, there's no guarantee that Anthony would be a part of future development projects concerning Metroid games. But seeing how well the Metroid Prime Remaster has sold, I think it would be somewhat safe to assume that they would want to bring back most of the same development team. Now here's the thing. Several months ago, we had reports coming from several leakers within the industry, including gaming insider Jeff Grubb, that Nintendo had already completed a remastered version of each Metroid Prime game. The report stated that Nintendo was just sitting on these completed remasters, and would slowly release each of them individually leading up to the release of Metroid Prime 4. This sounded like great news, but based on Anthony Garcelano's recent quote, it sounds like that initial report isn't completely accurate. When Anthony stated that he's crossing his fingers for a role in Prime 2 and 3, he basically implied that he hasn't already worked on them, which gives me doubt that they've been worked on at all. So here's the silver lining. The sales of the Metroid Prime Remaster far exceeded not just my expectations, but Nintendo's expectations as well, as they didn't make nearly enough physical copies to meet the demand upon release. The sales of Metroid Prime gave it the second biggest physical release of 2023, trailing only Hogwarts Legacy and ahead of the Dead Space remake and Fire Emblem Engage. Based on the fact that the game has sold so many copies and is so critically acclaimed, Nintendo would be crazy not to bring Prime 2 and Prime 3 to the Switch as well. So I definitely think that it's bound to happen. But now that Garcelano has given us reason to believe that they haven't begun remastering the games yet, if we are getting Prime 2 and Prime 3 on the Switch, we might be waiting a while for them. If you were getting your hopes up for Metroid Prime 2 in the next Nintendo Direct, I certainly wouldn't. Because this thing could still be a ways off, unless Nintendo just decides to straight up port them to the Switch. But hey, you guys are the same fan base who waited 19 years for Metroid 5, and is currently in a nearly 6-year wait for Metroid Prime 4. So me asking you guys to be patient with me isn't necessarily something that you're not used to. So what do you guys think? Would you rather wait a while for the remasters of Metroid Prime 2 and 3? Or would you rather get straight-up ports brought over to the Nintendo Switch? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Metroid and Zelda content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
That's all I get? Fine.
Every once in a while, one of you guys asks me if I think that this channel negatively affects my chances of working as an actress in the future. And usually I say no, but then I make videos like this.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda, you're watching Soul Entertainment, and today we are talking about Sam Levinson and, by extension, The Weeknd and their show, The Idol, that's coming out. We're also going to talk about Euphoria, but obviously we're mainly talking about The Idol and the Rolling Stone article that came out about The Idol. At the time of me recording, it just came out. Before I talk about Sam Levinson, his thinly veiled attempts to slip his fetishes, jab his fetishes into the pieces of work that he makes, I am not one of those people who thinks that we should take all sex and all sexual content out of art, films, TV. I'm not one of those people. I personally don't agree with most of the arguments that I have heard in regards to people who do have that opinion. Just personally, I do think there are times where sexual content does fit the storyline, the narrative, and elevates the piece, elevates the tension, elevates the story itself. I said story twice, but you get my point. Now, I understand that there are people who have experienced sexual assault and things like that, and I understand wanting to avoid media that depicts those things or any form of sexual content as a means of personal protection for yourself and trying not to re-traumatize yourself. I completely understand that. However, I do not think that just completely sanitizing all form of media of sexual content is a remedy, if that makes sense. What is bringing all this up is that I do think that though this show is probably going to be torture porn with a little plot, it does not mean that I think that any media that has sex in it is inherently harmful. I just don't agree with that rhetoric, and I want to make that very clear. Here's the synopsis of the show according to IMDb at this time. A self-help guru and leader of a modern-day cult enters a complicated relationship with a rising pop idol. The Idol, obviously. Now, a reason I was interested in the show originally, I'm not a Blackpink stanny. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I'm not a K-pop girly, okay? I think that's okay to admit. But Rachel Sennett, I adore her. I think she's the assistant or the driver to Lily Rose Depp's character. So that's where I was excited for this show because I just think she's great and I want to see her in more stuff. But Jennie is also in this show. She is in the K-pop group Blackpink. And this is, I believe, her first real acting job, if not her first acting job ever. Sorry, real sounds like anything she's done prior to this is not real. That's not my point. But this is like the first big project I believe that she is a part of, okay? And so a lot of K-pop stans were also very excited for this show because of that. And then also there are people who liked Euphoria or just like the premise of The Idol that were excited for The Idol. So Sam Levinson is the son of Academy Award-winning director Barry Levinson. He wrote and directed Assassination Nation and then later Malcolm and Marie. And before that, Malcolm and Marie, he put out Euphoria season 1 and then season 2 just finished airing a couple of months back now, I think. God, how long ago was that? Time is a black hole. But Euphoria season 1, I think, is where people really got on the Sam Levinson train, I guess you could say, or at least the people at HBO did. This was one of Zendaya's more adult roles, I would say, and people were very excited. I personally adore Zendaya. I never started watching Euphoria season 1 until Euphoria season 2 started airing. Why? I can't really tell you. I don't have a good answer other than I just didn't. Euphoria season 2 started airing. People were watching it. I was like, okay, well, I'll get caught up. I'll watch season 1 now, and then I can start watching season 2 alongside everyone. So I just kind of binged season 1 in the span of like a day and a half. I don't recommend that necessarily because that's where you kind of really see the writing issues, jumps in character development, questionable plot jumps, things like that. And I really wasn't convinced that it was a good show. And then I was watching season 2 and I was not more convinced. I still don't think I finished this final episode. I think I stopped. I was like, okay. And the thing about Euphoria that I think bothered a lot of people, again, as always, is, the talks of, the sex going on, the drugs going on, have you met actually a teenager and things like that. And then these are people in their 20s portraying teenagers. We are still watching teenage characters engage in these plot lines. And there was a lot of questionable nice word for saying it. There was a lot of things in this show, in season 1 even, that were just insane. Like when Maddie loses her virginity on vacation when she's 14 to a 40-year-old man, but honestly, she's the one in control. Kat's character's kind of like liberation in a character and finding her identity really is through sex work as a minor. There was a lot happening in season 1 that personally I did not like, and then season 2 also not good. So people knew that Sam Levinson was a weirdo for a while, and I think season 2 really showed just how having one person be in charge of everything for a show like this with this many different characters and plot lines, I don't think he was a strong enough writer to handle season 2 alone the way that it seems that he did. But then The Idol was announced and I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, I'm interested, not the Sick and Twisted Minds part or whatever that is. I think that's ridiculous to stick that in there. But the concepts seem interesting. I love a good cult storyline always. I'm always intrigued. I love Rachel Sennett. I knew there wasn't really an air date for it. We had no idea when the show was going to be coming out. But then this article from the Rolling Stone came out. The Idol, how HBO's next Euphoria became twisted torture porn. 13 sources tell Rolling Stone that The Idol, Sam Levinson's new show with The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp, has gone wildly, disgustingly off the rails. This is categorized under production hell, which I do find vaguely funny. I just realized we're going back to my roots and talking about a Rolling Stone article. Aww. This was way back when, but Teenage Amanda made a very angry video about the 5 Seconds of Summer Rolling Stone article in 2016, 2015. Really hope you can see this. Lily Rose Depp as a glamorous, troubled pop star, The Weeknd as a slimy, modern cult leader, supporting roles by Blackpink's Jennie, Troye Sivan, and a handful of other buzzy stars, and in-demand director Sam Levinson at the helm. For months, the hype machine has been a full tilt for HBO Max's upcoming series, The Idol, which is being billed as a darker, crazier, and more risque versions of Levinson's smash hit Euphoria. To be fair, that is an ask. Levinson and Abel, The Weeknd, Tesfaye, are the sick and twisted minds behind the sleaziest love story in all of Hollywood. That follows pop superstar Jocelyn as she navigates the seedy underbelly of the music industry and falls under the spell of Tedros, a mysterious owner of a popular LA nightclub who secretly runs a cult reminiscent of NXIVM and Scientology. Though the show was ordered to series in November 2021, it's been months since HBO gave a concrete update about when The Idol will debut. One source with knowledge of the production schedule tells Rolling Stone the network initially hoped The Idol to premiere last fall, taking over the Sunday time slot left open by House of the Dragon, which ended in October. Yet 3 teaser trailers have come and gone, and HBO can still only offer a vague later this year. Now, production sources tell Rolling Stone that even they are in the dark on when the show will make it to air, and have little idea about the final version will look like, claiming the production was plagued by delays, reshoots, and rewrites. It was, let's just say, a shit show, one says. The first public inkling of trouble came last April when director Emily Simons of The Girlfriend Experience and She Dies Tomorrow suddenly exited with roughly 80% of the 6-episode series finished. HBO addressed the news by confirming The Idol was set to have a major creative overhaul and would be adjusting the casting crew. There was little explanation for the shakeup except for reports that Tesfaye, who is co-creator, felt the show was headed too much into a female perspective. Let me go back to the breakdown of the show. Follows pop star Jocelyn as she navigates the seedy underbelly of the music industry and falls under the spell of Tedros. I think that kind of requires a female perspective, because we're following Jocelyn, sounds like. I'm assuming there's other characters as well, but I'm assuming the developing pop idol is the idol. But then also I'm assuming the idol is also a reference to like idology in the cult leader element of things. So I can understand to some degree where you'd be like, okay, we're not covering the cult aspect enough, but to say that the entire project is leaning too much into the female perspective and that's enough to kind of have someone leave. Okay, I shouldn't say they had someone leave. She exited the project, the director. See, now I want Simets to speak publicly on this, but I don't think she will. With that explanation, then she probably did leave on her own accord, but then also it's like 80% of your project is done, because then they brought in Sam Levinson, you know, after she left. And then the overshoot happened. But did they request that he do the overhaul? Because they announced it, cast and crew. In interviews with 13 members of the show's cast and crew, Rolling Stone has learned the drastic delay was caused by Levinson taking over as director and scrapping the nearly finished $54 to $75 million project to rewrite and reshoot the entire thing. I have a feeling we're going to see, I don't think we're going to see Snyder Cut levels of response to this show, but I feel like there's always going to be something in the background of like, oh, the Simets cut would have been better, because 80% of the project being filmed is a lot. To reshoot and re-edit that and scrap up to $75 million worth of shooting. Like, was it not salvageable at all? I never understand the fully scrapping everything and starting over. I get it if you're in the writing process and you scrap everything that you've done to start fresh with like what you fleshed out the ideas and now you're starting over. I get that, but scrapping what's already been filmed, I don't know. With Simons out of the picture, HBO handed the reins to Levinson, only to have him weaken the show's overarching message, many sources say, by dialing up the disturbing sexual content and nudity to match, and even surpass that of his most successful show, Euphoria. What I signed up for was a dark satire of fame and the fame model in the 21st century, one production member explains. The things that we subject our talent and stars to, the forces that put people in the spotlight, and how that can be manipulated in the post-Trump world. However, they said, it went from satire to the thing it was satirizing. It's always the problem, when you have people who think they're smarter than they are. Oh, I want to top what I've already done, which I don't think is good in the first place. Like, it's one thing to want to match what you've done previously. This is my body of work. I want to have something on the same level as this. So that I can understand. But to just be like, okay, we need to up the crazy sexual factor just to surpass my show about literal teenagers that are also having insane amounts of sex and are topless all the time. Like, that's, frankly, I think that's stupid. Four sources say that Levinson ultimately scrapped Simon's approach to the story, making it less about a troubled starlet falling victim to a predatory industry figure and fighting to reclaim her own agency, and more of a degrading love story with a hollow message that some crew members describe as being offensive. That's what I was hearing, that it was more like I love that I
there's this
am
part
with this
gap.
cult-like figure that has manipulated me because I'm also manipulating him. It was like any R fantasy that any toxic man would have in the show. And then the woman comes back for more because it makes her music better. Oh god. Levinson as Tesfaye did not respond to requests for comment. However, after this story was published, Tesfaye posted a clip from the Idol writing, "Rolling Stone, did we upset you? We will talk about that clip in a second." In a statement providing to Rolling Stone, Depp called Levinson the best director she's ever worked with, saying she has never felt more supportive or respected in a creative space. My input and opinions more valued. Okay, so Levinson was originally a writer on the show. The Idol was dreamed up by Tesfaye, his producing partner Reza Fahim, and Levinson going into development in June 2021. But 3 crew members' alleged assignments seemed to set up to fail from the start. When she arrived on set 7 weeks before the show started filming, she was given half-finished scripts, a first-time showrunner in Epstein, a tight schedule, and near impossible expectations from HBO, sources say. Amy was doing her best in an impossible situation, but she was going to lose this no matter what, one production member says. Honestly, I think HBO handed her a shit stack. Simon declined to comment.
Alright, so this is Tyramigo in all its glory. Head goes up, does a rar. So that's two pieces for. Legs do a this. Do 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 do. They can go out. Little tiny T-Rex arms here. Got some shoulder cannons. They exist. Yeah. So to transform him, tail comes off. Rotate the body up. Rotate the arms. Rotate, twist the whole. No, take that off. Twist the thing around. Now it's stuck. In theory, just rotate. Okay, there we go. Pop that off. We don't even have to, honestly, but okay. And then the head pops in there. And there's Kishiryuoh. Oh, and swap out the arm things, I think. That goes there. The other one goes here. And the tail goes on the back. Yeah. Like that. Okay. That's Kishiryuoh just on its own. I don't have anything to compare him with right now. I could get something. You can improve the articulation by switching the port the legs are plugged into. There we go. Improve the proportions a bit. It's got bending knees. There we go. Bending knees. Sideways ankle tilts. Does not bend forward and back. Yes, it does. I determined it could. Bends a little bit back. Ugh. Not a whole lot. It's awful tight. Alright, anyway. Does that. Arms, elbows, wrists. Listen, you can reconfigure the extra parts as you wish. Not really any armaments to speak of. You can mount that on the arm like this. Mount the tail. That's about the extent of it. You can mount this on top, I suppose. This should really be a solid piece. wider than that. Alright, so that's Kishiryuoh. Of course, there's 2 more boxes to make it a Three Knights configuration. Let me real quick compare something. Okay, whatever. So, that's not Kishiryuoh, that's the Power Rangers equivalent. Forget what they called it. This is the Three Knights formation. I will take these off, revert it to just the... And the head is purple because I put the correct head somewhere. I don't know where it is now. Couldn't find it in the bag. Got the purple head from a different thing I bought, and so we're just using that. And by way of comparison, off with you. Here's the painted. Here's the Hasbro Deluxe. Like I said, you can see what it's going for. I'll be painting some of these details in. Let's see, they need to be painted. This ought to be a good reference for painting as well, I think. But yeah, it's got all the highlights. The main thing is like these. I don't think there's stickers for those. I have to double check, but I don't see any stickers for the drill, so those will be my paint. You can swap out the heads on these guys, by the way. That's the gimmick. And Hasbro made them articulated. In the show, they're just keys. Thankfully, Hasbro made them. Once we're through, Hasbro made these heads better. But anyway. Let's just comparison. The Hasbro Deluxe, it's got a decent range of articulation as well. And I just broke the leg off there. My idea was that I would be replacing these with the Minipla, and I still probably will, but I'm a little disappointed in the quality. I should know by now that Minipla makes sacrifices, but I'm going to transform it real quick. Transform it back for comparison. The Lego sub gimmick was an interesting choice that year. Blame blame Bandai of Japan. And last, there's one more of those missile things. Oh, there it is. Oh, you can actually mount that. You mount it on the tail, I guess. There we go. So, there's a comparison in the T-Rex mode, which I'm not even going to bother. Well, I'll transform it back, just to say I did. Okay, and nose down, arms around, tail there. There's a comparison of the Dynaloads. There's not much to speak of. Did this one, they have similar articulation. The legs don't bend because the legs are meant to blend in robot mode. So you get what you get.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Oh shit, that a whole boy right there.
Yep, it a whole boy. So there's a comparison. This is the Hasbro's Deluxe versus the Minipla. Obviously, looks like just my comparison. I'm transforming back to robot mode. You may have missed it. And that is on there. As I was saying, I don't like that they made these arm things one-sided. It should be full, but whatever. There's a lot of compromises on this thing. There he is in robot mode, warrior mode. So he only uses this like one time, the first episode. After that, he starts doing Three Knights.
Sailor Zombie Esther. The arm things do look dumb.
So they should, I mean, they're eh. The main thing is, as I was pointing out on the Deluxe, they are hollow, and they should not be hollow. They should be full. They should be full, solid guns and drills. Full cuboid. On here they are half. They are half the size they should be. So that's annoying. So it should take out the entire shoulder piece, not just half of it. I can forgive the arms to a degree. They look better there, but eh. Anyway, so I'm going to paint this on my own time. But I still have 2 more boxes to go. So let's not waste any more time. Let us get into it. Put them off to the side after these messages. And welcome back. I should have gotten all the sexy stuff off the table in the meantime that I did not. I'm sorry. Let me do that real quick so we can continue. Alright. Welcome back. We're going to be building. Next up is Triken. It's a Triceratops. Kind of. A blue Triceratops. That's a first one. Sarcasm. This has changed up pink a bit. A bit. Finally, a new plastic color. Oof, I should paint those. Too late now. Alright, that means I'm watching a YouTube video.
Damn it, come on, don't be the bigger person. The timeline was also tight, production sources claim. Filming began in late 2021 and went into hiatus the following April. In addition, Levinson was largely absent from the Idol set early on. His time instead devoted to wrapping on Euphoria's second season, which was being filmed a lot next door. Apparently, sources are talking that Stamets thought she was going to be able to put her stamp on the show, but Levinson was not really open to collaboration and was not happy with how the show was going as they were filming to begin with. This quote from one source says, "And then for HBO to turn around and have Sam get essentially a blank check to turn it into Euphoria Season 3 with pop stars is extremely, extremely frustrating. Many people say they were fans of the original script. It was gripping, I couldn't put it down, but the final episodes were still only half finished and the finale completely unwritten. Stamets was encouraged by HBO and producers to put her own spin on the show and write the last episode," a source explains. As a result, Stamets was polishing up scripts and writing while directing. She also had her assistant, who had no previous credited writing experience, writing scenes, with HBO making the assistant a staff writer last January. So apparently it wasn't until the show went to break before the filming of the finale. So they had 5 episodes filmed. See, that's insane to me. To cut, be like, no, we don't like this, let's start over, before the finale is filmed. God. See, if you had told me that there was test screenings or something, they had done something. Report from April blamed the show's overhaul on Tesfaye, who was reportedly unhappy that the show was focusing too much on Deb's character, according to Deadline. A source with knowledge seconds that Tesfaye was the reason behind the shakeup, wanting to tone down the cold aspect of the storyline and pivot into something else entirely, dropping the feminist lens through which the show is being told as a result. It was like The Weeknd wanted one show that was all about him. Sam was on board with that. However, the 2 crew members claim Tesfaye's schedule made it difficult for him to be the show's primary focus. One crew member explains it was really frustrating because they were working so hard to make it possible to shoot and be released with his concert and whatever his timeline was, and it all got thrown out the window. I'm really heartbroken that Amy wasn't there to see it through. When cast member says she put her neck on the line for this project, she really tried to make it work and fit a square peg into a round hole, only for all that work to be eradicated and overwritten by Sam Levinson. Oh, a cast member. Oh, I want to know who. At the end of the day, this is not going to stop people from watching the show, unfortunately. There will be people who don't watch it because of this, but there are also people who have that little part in their brain that are like, okay, well, now I need to know if it's actually as bad as the article says. It was supposed to be a 3-month shoot from May to July, ended up stretching into September, despite the cast and crew celebrating at a wrap party in July. Come October, even more filming took place. Another claim from another crew member, it was a show about a woman who was finding herself sexually, turned it into a show about a man who gets to abuse this woman, and she loves it. At various points, Levinson's script contained disturbing sexual and physically violent scenes between Deb and Tesfaye's characters. 3 sources familiar with the matter claim In one draft episode, there allegedly was a scene where Tesfaye bashes in Depp's face, and her character smiles and asks to be beaten more, giving Tesfaye an erection. The scene was never shot, the sources say. Another proposed scenario was for Depp to carry an egg in her vagina, and if she dropped or cracked the egg, Tesfaye's character would refuse to R her, which sent Depp's character into a spiral, begging him to R her, because she believed he was the key to her success. The scene was also not filmed because production couldn't find a way to realistically shoot the scene without having Depp physically insert the egg, another source says. It was like, what is this? What am I reading here? It was like sexual torture porn. The article goes on much more to talk more about the money side of things and how the Weeknd opened up his home to try and conserve costs. The article ends with a quote, "This was such a strong example."
WTF is she on about?
A unreleased HBO series called The Idol, that is seems to be stuck in development hell, and she's reading production testimony about what's going on. I just like this creator, and I was like, let's see what this is about. And the title is The Idol Sounds Like a Mess, and yeah, it does sound like a mess. Production-wise and plot-wise.
Esther. Jesus.
Yeah, you can probably mute this if you want. It's a few minutes left. How much minutes? How much left? Shit.
Every time I think that we are making, every once in a while,
About 8 minutes left, I guess.
The scene was never shot. And if she dropped him, couldn't find like, what is this? What am I reading here? It was like sexual torture porn. The article goes on much more to talk more about the money side of things and how the Weeknd opened up his home to try and conserve costs. The article ends with a quote, "This was such a strong example of just how far Levinson can really push HBO, and they will continue to cover him because he brings in money." A second says, "He's able to walk away unscathed and everybody still wants to work with him. People ignore the red flags and follow him regardless." That's the article that came out. And then I can't show the full clip because I'm assuming it will be claimed. But the Weeknd tweeted out, "Rolling Stone, did we upset you?" And it's a clip from the show of him and Jocelyn talking with Dan Levy's character, which I'm assuming is a manager type, explaining that we got a cover for the Rolling Stone, and them talking about how the Rolling Stone is irrelevant, and how Instagram followers are apparently an indication of how irrelevant they are, because the Rolling Stone Instagram account has 6 million followers, half of them probably bots, according to the Weeknd's character. Then Jocelyn has 76 million or something, all real. And so she does the shoot, she does the cover, she tags them, they get all of her followers, nothing for Jocelyn. If the show had already started airing when he tweeted this out, or the show was airing or was in a preview and then the article came out, then maybe I could understand the "you mad bro"-esque message. However, this show is not aired yet, so there's no reason for this to be what sets off the Rolling Stone, because no one has seen this clip until you posted it. Unless this is all a marketing thing and you guys are orchestrating all this, which, I mean, always possible, because I wouldn't put anything past anyone anymore after the last few years we've had via media. The clip, one, painful. The pacing is very odd. I'm not a big fan, personally. I'm hoping it's just framed bad and being out of context. That's why, because the acting is a little stilted. Watching that scene, I'm assuming that it's supposed to be an indication that these two characters, the Weeknd and Depp's character, are idiotic to think that they would, not do this cover. It's the Rolling Stone. A cover for the Rolling Stone for a rising pop star. You absolutely would take that. Like, you would do that. You would 100% be on the cover of Rolling Stone. And to bury it all down to just the follower count on Instagram makes them look like morons and out of touch, which, depending on how they frame his character as a cult leader, could make sense in his regards, because it would make sense if he wants her to believe they are irrelevant and that this is not worth her time, because he wants Jocelyn to think that she needs him to be relevant. You need me to tell you who is worth your time and who isn't. There's a bit here where it seems like she's trying to please him a little bit, where he's like, "Aren't they a little irrelevant?" And then she's like leaning forward in the next clip where it's cut to her and she's like, "Yeah, it just seems like they're a little past their prime." Like, she's trying to add to him to kind of make it seem like Yeah, see, I'm agreeing with you. I'm on your side against our manager, my manager that I'm talking to right now. I agree with you, baby. You know, that type of thing. And I can see how in framing that would work in regards to this, but also they're wrong. Like, you would do the Rolling Stone cover. Any form of legitimate press would be good. And he's saying, like, I think they could really, you know, do some softball questions, do what we need them to do. You would absolutely want the good press. Does she know? See? Now I need to know the context of the scene. They got me. They got me because now I want to know the context of the scene, because it's like, does she know she's in a cult or not? Or does she just think that this guy who owns this nightclub is just like the source of her magic as a musician? You know, like I need to know what's going on here. God, they got me. God damn it. If you personally don't want to watch the show or support the show after something like this, that's totally fine. I think that's understandable. Clearly with...
Okay. So this is a replacement. Okay. All right, I can work with that. Okay, so I spoke a little bit too soon. The parts that come with the Tyramigo can be replaced. They include them with Triken and Ankyrose, the cannons here, and then I assume... Yeah, okay, the drills come with Ankyrose. Okay. I can work with that.
How Euphoria Season 3 is going to go and all this stuff. I thought there was going to be a writer's strike, honestly, this year. So who knows when Euphoria Season 3 is happening. I don't even think they've started production, or they're going to start production. The show's not supposed to air, I think, until 2025, when everyone's 30. All the actors are. So who knows what's going on. That's really the whole point of this video. I just wanted to talk about the article a bit more and my own feelings on Sam Levinson. I don't like him. I don't think he's a spectacular writer. From everything that happened with Barbie, everything that happened coming out of this article and all this stuff, I don't like him as a director. I think respect is a big thing for me, and that's the thing that always gets me about this industry, is people are like, well, people are always disrespectful in the film industry. It's because that's just how it is. Sydney Sweeney is mentioned in this article as well, in reference to an interview that she did back when season 2 of Euphoria was airing, where she talked about how Sam is actually respectful of what his actors want. So there was a scene or multiple scenes where Cassie is supposed to have her top off for the scene, and she said that she told him that she didn't really think it added to the scene, so he said sure. And Chloe Cherry also has spoken out about how the first day she was on set, they filmed the scene with her boyfriend where she's supposed to climb through the vent, and Sam Levinson wanted her entirely naked in that scene, and it was like, that seems like a lot. And so I don't know. Just because he's not forcing people to be naked all the time does not mean he's also not a dirtbag, you know? Like, just because he's like, hey, here's all the nudity that I'm putting on the table. If you do half of it, I'm happy, you know? Like, I just don't think that that's a sign of a stellar director who treats his actors well, you know? I'm assuming he knows that forcing his actors to do the nude scenes when they don't want to do the nude scenes is obviously an even worse look. I don't want to say it's like applauding a fish for swimming, because that's not... The fish is trying to get other fish to, like, show a hole on camera. You know? Like, it's ridiculous. Anyways, that's going to be it. Did you watch Euphoria Season 1? Did you watch Euphoria Season 2? What are your opinions on it? Have you heard about The Idol? Were you interested in The Idol before this? What is your thoughts on The Idol now? Did you read the Rolling Stone article? Is it the first time you're hearing of it? What do you think of Sam Levinson as a director in all? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I have a podcast, a Special Man's Podcast. Reminder, I have merch like this mug right here. There may be a design for this video. I don't know yet. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting my Patreon. Also explore my Patreon. List down below. Like, follow me on social media. That'll be all here, and that's gonna be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. I know they didn't end up filming it, but like the egg in the vagina? Like, I watch a ton of horror movies, and there are times I watch horror movies and I'm like, God, who wrote this, like, scene? This is insane. But how... Thank you. Andrew, Alan, Cameron, Christopher, Chris B, Chris P, Crash BC, China, Dirty One.
No.
Every once in a while, one of you guys asks me.
Let's watch Tom Scott. Alright, so Triken is looking much the same as
This story ended up being more
Ankyrose is looking much the same as Triken. Shocker. So we will just go ahead and do this. Without much commentary.
complicated than I thought. It is generally accepted that the oldest business in the world, the oldest that's still operating anyway, is the Nishiyama Onsen Keonkan, which is this hot springs hotel about 3 hours west of Tokyo. For more than 1,300 years, people have been coming here for the natural, crystal clear hot water baths, and until recently, the owners have been 52 generations of the same family.
当館が開湯、お湯が見つかったのが西暦705年。この時に、藤原の真人という方が、山をそこで狩りをしておりまして、そこでお湯がこう湧いておるのを見つけまして、じゃあここにちょっとお風呂でもっていうところが当館が最初に創業したところでございます。
There are other people staying here tonight, by the way. It's just we're not filming them for obvious privacy reasons. The hotel's not empty. Anyway, I assumed that I'd be staying in something like a living museum here because that's what I've come to expect from the sort of historical attractions you'll find in Britain. That's what tends to happen to anything centuries old where I'm from, a kind of preservation that means that everything must be held at a certain point in time, funded by tourists who want to visit the old thing and see history. Which is great if you're running a museum, but for a hotel business that needs to survive in the 21st century, well, customers will change with the times.
もともとの温泉が4本ございまして、もうこのホラーの中にお湯が湧いておる。そこがもともとの当館の温泉の場所でございます。その前におそらく木造でずっと建てて、そこでずっと営業されてたと思うんですけど、最初はそのお風呂の場所をずっとこういろいろ改造しながら建て直ししながらずっと営業してきたんじゃないかと思います。鎌倉時代とかそういう時にはおそらくどういう形だったのかはちょっと江戸時代とかそういう時にはもう普通の食事のするっていうよりも自炊湯治をしながらお風呂に入るっていうもともとはお風呂にそのまま入ってましたから浴槽の中は浴槽がなくて岩風呂の中にどんどん入ってましたから木造の建物が建ったのがやっぱり最初に一番古いのが明治の初期ぐらいのものがありますから平成9年に新しくこういう形の一泊二食全部観光旅館にしたんですけど
There's still tradition here. It's not a Western-style hotel. You sleep on futons. Dinner is served at a low Japanese-style table. But this place has been updated again and again and again. This building is only a few decades old. The exact location has moved around this area many times over the years. It's only been a hotel in the English sense for a few decades. Before that, it was just a place to stay and take the waters. Now there's very fast Wi-Fi and, of course, a gift shop. They excavated new hot springs in 2005, which gave them 5 times as much hot water, and there are modern pumps and systems to check water temperature and quality. The water's drinkable, by the way. It's a hot spring after all. It's mineral water.
書物あたりでは徳川家康とか武田信玄とかそういうことは聞いてはおります。事実今の天皇陛下もうち泊まってもらったんですよ。昭和62年ですかね。その時に泊まって随行100人それも仙台はコマーシャルしないような人なんで結局やっぱりその温泉を今言われるオーバーツーリズムそういうことで来る人じゃなく
So that was going to be the story. This is the world's oldest business because it
Sailor
changes
Zombie
with the
Esther.
times.
Hot
Problem
springs
one with
sound
that,
nice this
the
time
modern
of year.
English language
Agreed.
concept of business doesn't quite map correctly onto Japanese culture from more than a millennium ago, obviously. There is a school of flower arrangement in Kyoto called the modern English language concept.
今言われるオーバーツーリズムそういうことで来る人じゃなく
So that was going to be the story. This is the
So long story short, I'll share the video later. But what happened is the guy who owned it says that originally the hot spring was just literally just the hot springs themselves, and it wasn't a hotel in the Western sense, but over time. So eventually they added proper buildings and a pump system and whatnot, and modern stuff. But originally the hot springs were just It's just a place people came to soak in the hot springs in the actual cave. And at the end, he was mentioning that some famous people here have stayed here. Tokugawa Ieyasu and a famous samurai whose name I cannot recall. And then he also said that the current Emperor Akihito, I believe, Naruhito, stayed here in 1987, but they didn't publicize it because they have a risk. They don't want to run the risk of over tourism. And that's where we are now. Tom Scott's like, yeah, that was going to be the video, but then stuff happened. So let's see what stuff is.
World's oldest business because it changes with the times. Problem one with that, the modern English language concept of business doesn't quite map correctly onto Japanese culture from more than a millennium ago, obviously. There is a school of flower arrangement in Kyoto called Ikenobo that was founded a couple of centuries before this, but that school probably counts as an organisation in English rather than business, as best as I can tell from translations from a local team here. If you do count that school, you kind of have to count much older things like the Catholic Church as well. This has always been a definite business. So, problem two, this has only been the oldest business in the world since 2006, when the former record holder, a construction company called Kongogumi, fell on hard times. But Kongogumi didn't close or go bankrupt, it was bought by a bigger construction company. It had been a family business for nearly 1,500 years, but now it's just a subsidiary of a modern company, still operating, but arguably just a name on an organisation chart. Should Kongogumi still count? I don't think so. But if it doesn't count, that brings me to problem three with this story, which all the English-speaking sources I found seem to have missed.
私が引き継いだ経緯っていうのが、先代がやっぱりその80歳を迎えて、ただやっぱりその中でやっぱり身内の方でこういう状況で山の中で旅館をやるっていうことを引き継いでくれる方がいらっしゃらなかったと。そういった中で私が25でずっと先代のそばで働いて、たまに言いますけど、本当に怒られながら、毎日怒られながら仕事しながら、何も社長をやろうとは思ってなかった。それがふとしたことで5年前に川野ちょっと来いって言って、次の社長川野お前やれって、私ですかっていうことで、ずっと1300年続いたこの旅館を俺の知らない人に渡すのも嫌だし、ただ私は他人だから有限を継ぐわけにいかない。ということで株式会社西山温泉慶雲館のまずは社長に私が就任して、で株を全部私が引き取って。
There was no practical...
Okay, so what he just said is that of course they established that the business was run as a family business for 1,300 years, but and he worked here since he was 25. He is pretty old now. The previous owner, none of his family members wanted to take over, and so he says he was shot at every day of his career. But then, when none of the family members wanted to take over, the owner was like, "Would you like to take over?" And he was like, legally he couldn't because something about the family business. So he created a new company that bought out the shares, and that's the situation. That's what he said.
Changed what was happening here. That seems more like a restructure than a takeover. The new owner is the old general manager, so while it's not in the family, there is...
That's dumb.
I don't make the rules.
Continuity. And I hate to say, I'm not sure, but if there's been one theme through this channel over the years I've been making videos, it's that the world is complicated. And it doesn't fit in neat little categories. If you've got a list like oldest businesses that is a millennium and a half old, of course it's going to have a few asterisks in it. As for me, I'm just going to go and take the waters.
私が引き継ぐにあたっての先代からの言葉が、旅館の主でいろ、他に絶対手を出すな。それが家訓と言ったらおかしいですけど、代々伝わった言葉でございます。それが 続いてこれたのはやっぱり他のところに手を出さないで旅館だけをやってきた。それが1300年続いた一つの要因じゃないかなと私はそう思ってます。
All right, he said when the former owner passed the business on to him, he said, focus on the ryokan only, let that be your business, and that's kind of their unofficial mantra. They haven't done any, not branched out into any side businesses or anything. It's just running this place. So that's neat. And that's the end of the video, by the way, which is good timing because this is about the end of the build. So.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Kaiju attack in Splatoon imminent.
Nice. All right. So, if you missed it, I realized something. You don't need these. These were fillers included in the, if you only got Tyramigo. Ankyrose and Triken include the proper pieces, so I rescind that criticism. You can put them on his arms like that. And there is the proper Kishiryuoh One Knight, unofficially. Then you combine it with Triken and let's see what we got here. Alright, so first of all is Kishiryuoh. So here's Triken, here is Ankyrose, here is Kishiryuoh. Again, didn't do any painting or stickering except for just the eyes there. So I'll get back to that. But let's combine it. Let's turn it. Let's do Kishiryuoh Triken first. I think Kishiryuoh Triken is pretty close to Kishiryuoh Three Knights. And put the blue head in there. Okay. There's Kishiryuoh Three there. Make sure I got all the pieces. Yeah. Kishiryuoh Three it just gives it a sword there. Moves the configurations around. So a lot of the formations are just changing the way that the modular parts are listed. It's got the Lego, basically a Lego brick system all over the place, so you can attach stuff. You can come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. You can stick stuff on the legs there. That's an option. Legs, chest, crotch, shoulders. On top of the arm pieces, like you can do like this. It's got all kinds of options there. It's a nice gimmick, I think, for what it was. Sometimes you can put that on the side of the arm as a weapon. In fact, that'll come up in the next one. So that's Kishiryuoh Triken. Let's make Kishiryuoh Ankyrose, and then I'll move into Three Knights. Tail is formed from one drill. And one gun. Goes on that arm. Then you stick this on that arm. We don't get on the count of 4 here. 2, 3. This doesn't go anywhere. Okay. And you stick the pink head in there. So that's Kishiryuoh Driken. Sorry, Ankyrose. Use the tail as a weapon there. It's got a big hammer here. Bigger hammer. I'm actually surprised it's the only formation that uses that. But yeah, doesn't really look great there. It's a formation, I believe, where it uses the drills to, the gun just to give it some length there. Yeah, I think it was like that. But let's do Three Knights.
Sailor Zombie Esther. He looks great.
Glad you think so. Three Knights uses the Tyramigo head again. The red head. This goes back.
Sailor Zombie Esther. You know what else looks great? My pillow. Good night.
I've got like 3 minutes left. So T-Rex head there.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Dude.
I promise. I'm basically done here. Just about done. Just want to show the completed thing. Making 3 Knights formation. Focus on the shoulder. And then this one here. Alright, so this goes on that shoulder, and the drills go on top. And there we have Kishiryuoh Three Knights, which is the main robot for all of like 2 episodes until Green and Black joined. They started using 5 Knights, and that's it. Like I said, that's the Kishiryuoh set. I'll paint it up. I'll post pictures. I keep saying I'll post pictures. I never post the pictures, but I'll figure something out. Maybe tonight will be the night. Anyway, that is Kishiryuoh 3 Knights. I will get. I don't have the green and blue set, the green and black set. So next week I'm going to start doing some Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger stuff. Stay tuned for that. Free Play Fridays will return probably with something. AS Monica R will be eventually, and then I'll play Transformers probably. All right. Thank you all very much for coming out. Have a great night. And yeah, do shit. Bye.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Good night.